Francesca Bridgerton is a great example of a feminist theory of compulsory heterosexuality. Also known colloquially on the internet as comphet, compulsory heterosexuality is a term popularized by poet and essayist Adrienne Rich in her 1980 essay Compulsory Heterosexuality and Lesbian Existence. It's the theory that heterosexuality is not a natural inclination, but instead socially enforced, that society is structured to instill the assumption that all women are heterosexual and therefore need men, making heterosexuality actually a political mechanism by which men can subjugate women. This is exemplified in Francesca in the TV adaptation of Bridgerton. Francesca wants to get married to the extent that she knows it is an expectation to fulfill. It's something she accepts she must do. Her desire to have children is not brought upon by her desire to be a mother, but the social norm that as a woman, it is her duty to provide children for her husband. She never considers what is her desire. She accepts that she will economically and socially tie her identity and labor to being a wife and mother. And that is the goal of compulsory heterosexuality, to rob women of any alternative to that life. So when Francesca meets John, she sees her solution to living out the performance she has trained for her whole life by marrying him and immediately trying to have children. However, though Francesca indeed loved John, cared for John, wanted to spend her life with John, it's very clear she was never attracted to him. She does not feel pleasure when she sleeps with him. Even when she kisses him, there's a lack of sensual joy, and even her mom can sense that John is not really Francesca's great love. However, Francesca believes it's her own fault that she's not able to fulfill this role. She believes she needs to try harder in order to experience pleasure with John. She believes she's the reason she can't get pregnant despite there being no evidence that it's about her at all, and she believes that because she has been trained to think that this is what her life should be. I've seen people argue that Francesca is actually bisexual, and if that's your interpretation, fine, but dramaturgically speaking, with her focus on getting married mainly to fill a role, her lack of attraction to men, including John, and even admitting that what she and John have is easy in a diminutive way, I think it's clear that we can extrapolate that in fact, Francesca is probably incapable of being attracted to men at all. And when a woman begins to ask, why am I not attracted to men, that is when the facade of compulsory heterosexuality is lifted. And that's exactly what happens when Francesca meets Michaela. Lesbian erasure is a major tenet of compulsory heterosexuality, and this is why. Because it means women start to consider an alternative to heterosexuality, and by extension, their presumed need for men. Obviously, the concept of a lesbian or the concept of sexual orientation was not really in the vernacular at this time period, but the point still stands. So now Francesca has an alternative. She can and will find a life with Michaela. They will find love and fulfillment with each other, and they will certainly find a way to maintain economic and social autonomy as a couple. And that is the greatest threat to compulsory heterosexuality as a political mechanism, because if these two women are able to do it, that means there are many more women who would feel just as fulfilled and just as free without being tethered to a man, and that would completely shatter the illusion that patriarchy is the definitive, natural way that women must exist. So under the theory of compulsory heterosexuality, Francesca and Michaela falling in love is not only an act of romance, it is an example of resisting the ways heterosexuality keeps women disempowered.